Hey, my question was on materials management on job sites. Do you guys currently have that? Do you have, distributors come in with trailers or cloth boxes and that kind of stuff and actually have somebody come in and manage inventory on site for a particular job that you might have? And if so, do you like that? Do you find that as a good value-add service?
I think we have started to move that direction. I think that's a very, very good value-added service. We don't do it on every single project. We do it on our larger projects. I would say we also do it in our warehouse. We stock a lot of materials in our warehouse, and we do some prefabrication in our warehouse where we have deals set up with our distributors that, and it's down to a barcode system where they know every time we pull materials from that shelf, it's barcoded, it's scanned, so as soon as those materials get used, the distributor knows how much we have left, and then there's a red line. As soon as they go below the red line, they know to send a truck out. On the job site, it's harder to do that sort of a system, but there is minimums that we can set with our foreman, and I could just say, hey, as soon as you get below this, let me know. Distributor will be out here next day. They know that they're going to keep this stocked for us, material X, Y, and Z. I definitely think I'd like to do it on every single project, to be honest with you. So.
Tom or George, do you guys get involved with the VMIs and
Right. Well, being so small, I don't have any needs for that yet. Like I said, normally our inventory, we jump from job to job, and like today we started a new job. Tell my guys sort everything out. See what we need, make a list, call it in. Like I said, I have a truck that goes out and pick up the supplies and bring them back to the guys. That's pretty much all he does. Pick up, move on job to job. So for me, that would be no needs. If I would have a bigger job, maybe, yeah, that might work in a way. But for me, no.
Okay.
We have just standard pre-printed office sheets that are on all our service vehicles. So, we're being dispatched with a service vehicle, and we go into a customer's place of business. All the materials that are used, everything's pre-labeled, so they just write the quantities down when that sheet is turned in. Their service vehicles they're rolling inventory, and based on what's come off of that for that particular job, we just restock the vehicles in the same fashion that Joe would be restocking his job sites.
Okay.
Okay, Tom mentioned earlier that when he gets an email, he just likes maybe one item. So do you guys get newsletters from your distributors? And if so, do you actually read them, or do you just delete them?
You can be honest.
I'm just, for us, we spend a lot of time on that, and I personally feel like it's probably wasted. So I would just like to know if that is true or not. Would one email a week with maybe one highlighted item be better received than a monthly newsletter with 6 to 8 items?
I personally think it would, based on the fact, we get the same amount of emails as all you folks do. So, our mornings, as Joe mentioned, and as George will reiterate, our mornings are like, from 7 o'clock till 8:15. It's like your guys' mornings from 9 till 10:30. Our mornings start a lot earlier, so we're trying to incorporate guys asking for this, that, and the other, customers asking where this, that, and everything else is, and then at the same time, you're seeing what's pertinent and what isn't. And, if one distributor is sending you something telling you about this widget and that widget and this widget and that, you're like jumping Jiminy, you just move on to the next one. So if there was one item that jumped out at you and really caught your attention, and not a doggone bunch of verbiage, I'm not saying a bunch of, fancy-dancy pictures, but, maybe just the key points that this is going to save 22% on energy consumption and produce X, Y, and Z, and keep it simple. So when we open it up, we're like, that's something that we can bring to our end user and say, hey, that this is the latest, greatest.
Yeah, I would say, kind of agreeing with Tom. You get a lot of emails in the morning, and just from day-to-day grind. So when, a lot of times if you do come across an email that doesn't pertain to one of your projects in that morning, it a lot of times gets skipped or it does get deleted, to be honest. So, and not that I don't have any care for it, because I just would skip right over it, because it's something that I would look into later on that morning, or maybe after work I would go through my emails again and see and kind of take a look at the product and either take a step forward with it or move it on to the person in our company, or I would delete it if I didn't think it pertained to us. Because you got to remember that we might get one weekly newsletter from one manufacturer, but every single manufacturer has that same mentality. So we're still at the end of the day getting, multiple during the week. So I think maybe once a month would help, along with what Tom said, pointing out just keywords, things that we can say direct to an end user, something that an end user would understand, so that we could just really push to them that particular product.
I would say one newsletter every month would be good. Like I said, I'm not into, I do have emails and I have everything, but a lot of the information, sometimes gets a little bit technical. So I would say just one newsletter a month would be great. If there's a new product that they think it's going to blow out, yes, let us know right away. For a lot of the dimmers issues for us, it's important, so if there's a new dimmer out there, we want to know, because that's our main thing right now. Everybody is having issues on that kind of stuff.
I think I just would like to add, samples is good too. If we know of a certain project that's coming up, the manufacturer that calls on us knows about it, the distributor knows about it and says, hey, you guys might want to take a look at this. I think samples are big, because if we're able to sample out, we can get it to our field, and our field's going to say yay or nay. But I think that's a really good way, because a lot of times we'll take those samples and we'll pertain them to the current projects that we have and say, how can we use these? That's our direct motive. So if we get, samples, one or two, whatever it may be, but if we sent that out to the field where that particular project we think we could use them on, that could help a lot, instead of it just coming through in a newsletter.
I have a quick question. Do you care about brands?
No, not really. A brand is reputable.
They don't mean reliability. They don't mean, do you have trusted brands?
Yeah, exactly. There's trusted brands. And we know which brands we trust. If a new one comes along, it's that we're iffy about it in the beginning. We a lot of times stick to what we know. Yeah.
And nothing against foreign manufacturers, but sometimes there have been problems associated with stuff that's being produced overseas, and when it gets here, bulbs are flickering, things of that nature.
Yes, I think brands are important, because again, like I said, my experience was try to save some money, and at the end I end up spending more money because I had to do service calls to come and repair. So if we manufacture good product and we know it comes from good source, then I say yes, it's important, the brand,
So I have one more question, and this is related to some of the other questions. I'm going to ask it a different way, though. So when it comes to looking for solutions to problems that you may have on your job site, you may have a certain angle that something has to be installed. You may have a certain reoccurring problem. Do you use the internet, or do the people, the foremen that work for you, Google those problems to find solutions to those problems? How do you go about finding a way to overcome something that may be happening on your job site?
I think it's, for me, it's been two ways. For me, it's picking up the phone, and I kind of touched on that internal customer support with those distributors. If they're knowledgeable and a lot of times they know about a lot more products than I would. So I think that is really big. That ties into the customer support on distributors. And secondly, yes, I use the internet. My field staff, they all have iPads. They all have, our foremen do, all have iPads, smartphones. They'll look it up. They'll look up a product themselves and say, hey, can we get this or something similar? Because they have an idea of how they're going to do it in their head. So yeah, internet, they'll Google it themselves, and they know their trusted brands that they're going to go to as well.
The only thing I'd like to add is, most of the products we buy, we're accustomed to installing them, so 99% of the time we don't have problems. But the 1%, we'll usually go back to the distributor and say, hey, why isn't this doggone thing working?
I would say I call direct to the engineer department again, to find out my problems, or if I think I'm going to have a problem. I remember having a fan and we couldn't figure it out. So the literature was not a real explanation, or wasn't self-explanatory, so we had to go back and figure out, okay, well, why is this not working? And then after we talked to them, yes, they explained everything. For internet, sometimes I think you get bad information, or it's not, whoever puts it up, if it's not the actual manufacturer, we can get bad information on it. There's always reviews and stuff like that saying, okay, well, why is this here?
Do you market to your customers to upsell product? And if so, how best can your distributors help you with that?
As far as upsell product, are you speaking more on like a lighting side or a control side, sort of an energy management, or?
Could be any of those. It's normally I install this product, but for X amount more, I could install this product that does this, this, and this, kind of a premium product.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll definitely, if they have questions, sometimes they'll bring us a couple of different options and we'll explain it to them, or we'll say, hey, you're installing this at this cost. It's pretty expensive and you're not getting as much out of it. You could go to Z, and yeah, definitely. I would say that happens a lot to our end users.
Is there a way your distributor partners can help you with that you see, or is that, you kind of look at that as your responsibility?
At the end of the day, you want one point of contact for your end user. So they would be coming to me on that. I would definitely use the distributor, the manufacturer, whoever it may be. If they're asking me, is there something better I can do, and I don't know the answer, I would definitely turn around and go to the manufacturer and say, hey, what's comparable within this price range that's going to give them more. And I come across a lot of that when I'll walk into a building and do an energy management analysis, take a look at their lighting, take a look at what kind of control system they have, and give them options that way. If I don't know something, I definitely turn to the manufacturer or distributor for help on that.
One thing I'd like to add is, we also do generator installs, and a lot of the generator manufacturers will do direct mail marketing pieces for us. We'll market it, with our company name, logo. They'll even mail them out for us. I've often thought that if it was taken down a step, and we'll walk into a customer's home or a place of business and mention to them about, room sensors and the new LED receptacles, night lights, and customers haven't even heard about them. So if someone were to do some type of marketing material with a postcard and offer that to their contractors and say, we'll send out 100 pieces for every X amount of dollars in sales you do, I think you guys would hit the ball out of the park with that one.
Yes, I always try to upsell equipment, every time I can. The reason I say we always have a stock item that we have to install, and when I talk to my customers, say, this is what you're getting, but with a little bit more money, or upgrade a fan or whatever, I explain to them, and I do have literature in my truck that I can always show them why is it better, so it's always good to have that on hand. Could show them the difference, okay, or, a little bit more, you're going to get a better product, and it's going to be better at the long run. And I do have information to show them right away on hand.